Hello, and welcome to Liberate Your Life podcast, a place where we come together and explore Ayurvedic wisdom, holistic healing, and spirituality, empowering individuals to explore their true nature and transform their life. I'm your host, Melinda Reese, Ayurvedic practitioner, Panchakarma specialist, and founder of Tahoe Ayurveda. And I am here to help you transform your life. Thank you for tuning into Liberate Your Life podcast. This episode 28, is called Nourish Your Life. In this episode, I go into deeper stories of my own and Ayurveda and how incredible the wisdom is to integrate into daily art of living to nourish your life, and true nourishment, caring for ourselves, loving ourselves, and how that really can transform our inner relationship and our outer relationships. I discovered Ayurveda about 20 years ago. I had taken myself out of school to slow down and understand myself better. I was going through a lot emotionally and really uncovering a lot of emotions and challenges from my childhood, and they were really starting to wreak havoc on my life. And so I went into massage school, and from there I started falling in love with holistic healing modalities and really got turned on to meditation and Chinese medicine and yoga. And through that, I found myself at San Francisco State University. They happen to have a holistic health department. And so I started taking classes there. And one of my classes was this seminar that every week we hosted a speaker from some field within holistic healing modalities. And one week, Dr. Shrestha from Nepal, who's an Ayurvedic doctor, OBGYN, she came to talk with us, and it was her first trip to the United States. And she had a translator at that time and really shared about Ayurveda, and she went on my pulse and let me know that I was a pitta, that I'm a fiery girl. And so I discovered Ayurveda then. So it was always like in, my understanding as I started to study all these different modalities and dove deeper into yoga. But it wasn't until about 12 years later did I commit to studying it formally, and become a practitioner. And so what I want to bring in about Ayurveda is, after going through so much of my own healing journey and studying so many different modalities, Ayurveda gave me these key pieces to really care for myself through daily self-care practices, through my food, through yoga, through meditation, through breath work, through self-care practices to take care of my body. And they really, over time, really help to heal my nervous system and my digestion, and help to really reprogram the way that I thought, the way that I felt in my body, and to give me continuous tools to find deeper alignment, to see when I'm out of alignment, and to see some of the patterns that I go through, and to have the tools to incorporate different foods and practices every day to really find a deeper state of balance and happiness within my skin, and fall deeper and deeper in love with myself. And from that place, really align my life so that it has deeper meaning and fulfillment. So during my 20s, what happened was I started not being able to live in my body, because as some of the childhood pain was coming up from mine and beyond, whether it's past lifetimes or this lifetime, I was had a really extreme anxiety, and this started when I was 21. And that anxiety led to me trying to control my everyday through my food and through movement. So that started with starving myself and losing about 25 pounds. And then it was controlling my emotions through movement. So I needed to move my body every day, multiple times in so many ways to exhaust the pain, to not feel the pain, and to push my body into ways that um, gave me this sense of control and high while I wasn't nourishing myself enough. And then the eating disorder, it was really challenging to live in the world and have to face food every day. I worked at restaurants. You go and have food with your friends and your family. There's so much built around food. And I started developing so much anxiety about all these choices. And so I just realized that, well, I can eat, but I don't actually have to digest it. So then I started throwing up. And so that started about a 10-year um, journey with bulimia. And there was this sense of purging. So like when you with eating disorders, you have like this zone that you can function out of, and mine used to be really 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 tiny. And if anything got triggered, I felt like I wasn't safe and I'd have anxiety and the energy was too challenging to feel, and so I would purge and I would throw up. And then with the food, right? So when we put food in our body, food is very kapha. Food is substance. Food is building blocks. And so when I would eat, I actually had to feel what was going on in my body. And so when something would get thrown off, I would want to purge because the pain or the challenges or the anxiety or the fears, the discomfort was too big for me to stay in my body and feel it. When I would purge and throw up, that energy shift would take me out of body and I didn't have to feel the pain that I was feeling, although it led to a number of other painful things and a very loud, very mean voice inside of my head and my body that many many days would just scream at me and force me into believing these horrible things and to be in a state of constant fight or flight and chaos and really trying to manage life and push myself physically so hard. And I always said that Melinda did her triathlons every day, and that would be like I'd hike, I'd swim, I'd climb, I'd do yoga. And I would do like 2 or 3 events every single day while controlling my food, while being underweight. I didn't have a period for at least 5 years. And um, it's a really fascinating journey to wake up every day and to try to navigate life and live in this body. And when you look at, children that have had childhood trauma for various reasons, there's like this pattern that happens. And so I'm like, wow, I'm textbook. Like these things happened as a child. And so these are the things that you do when you're older to find control or to process those emotions. And so it became this like chutes and ladders, and I would try to find my ground and I would try to get better. I never went to professional help. Um, in the beginning, I did go to a few people, but was denied help and was just, it kind of reinforced that I was alone and that this was up to me and that I needed to come through this. And now, as I sit here, fully recovered and in love with myself and my life and everything that's created, I am grateful for the journey that I've been on and that it really helped to direct my path and dive so deep into my healing, into these healing modalities, and to expand my awareness around what's possible, healing trauma. And I dreamed that someday it would feel different. And I had no idea how amazing it would actually feel now, and how quiet it can be, and how calm and how sweet, and how much I enjoy food, and how much I honor my body. And so, Nourish Your Life for me really came through incredible healing. And I've been devoted now for 20 years for my own healing and my own studies and my own training, and really sharing everything that I experience, have learned, and am devoted to. And this is my dharma to share, and it is my karmic path to heal. And I am blessed. I feel like I got everything I needed to direct me on this path. So, nourishing your life is really about nourishment. Like, true nourishment is like connecting and listening. It means slowing down and really taking the time to integrate that which we know to be true, wisdom about how to take care of ourselves, things that we're doing that are not good for us, and having the ability to change our ways because we're asking for a different way of living and breathing and being within our own skin. And when we nourish our lives, nourishment is, what do we feed ourselves through the senses? What are we looking at? What are we hearing? What are we ingesting? What are we smelling? What are we feeling? And how can we really advocate for healthy, loving, compassionate, tender, soft, sweet embrace for ourselves? And then how do we look at our food? How do we take the time to be conscious about what we put in our bodies? How do we take the time to be conscious about our stimulation? What is stimulating us? What is influencing our mind? Can we take time each day to practice being quiet, dropping into that stillness through movement meditation, walking in nature, unplugging, meditation, breath work, yoga practices, these different ways to really nourish your life. And when we feel nourished, we feel grounded, we can connect into our deep reverence for ourselves. And then that's this beautiful space where we come alive, where we can forgive our past, we can make peace with our parents, we can make peace with who said what, when, how, at some time in our life that really hurt our sweet, tender hearts, and we built an armor around it, right? So how can we deconstruct that ego that has been really more aggressive and mean and has said that it needs to protect us? But how do we deconstruct the ego? How do we find that place where we feel nourished and whole and grounded? And I feel like with Ayurveda just offers so much, and this is why I really devoted my studies and my work to Ayurveda. And yes, there's a lot of language in Ayurveda and the doshas and all these things, but really it's know thyself. It's self-knowledge for self-healing, right? And I've talked about this one at another podcast, but the self-knowledge is taking time to really be with yourself, to really understand what are our thoughts, what are our conditioning, what have people told us, and what really aligns, what feels right, what's our deepest yes, what feels delightful, what foods work, what foods don't work, what are the things that we need to do, what's important, what do we spend most of our time doing, and then do we feel good? Do we want to feel better? Do we want to increase our quality of life? And I feel like Ayurveda, yes, maybe you have to pay money for a consultation, but it's like affordable in the sense of there are choices we're making every day. We're making choices to eat. What are we eating? We're making choices about when are we going to bed? How are we caring for ourselves? And so these are choices we have to make every day. So why not tune into what is best for us? What feels right? What is optimal digestion? What is optimal energy? What is good quality sleep? What does it mean to care for our bodies? These bodies are the only reason this is all going down. So, and there's so much fun. They're so interesting. They're sacks of goo. They do all these crazy wild things. We're so blessed to be embodied that it was our time to come in as a soul into these bodies and have these experiences. And what can we do on a day-to-day basis to nourish our lives? And it doesn't need to take a lot of time. It's like we can work those incredible jobs, we can do the things we love, but there's these moments of these pure, beautiful moments to nourish our lives, to take a moment to tune in. Is this good for me? Is this not good for me? Well, how are we feeling? Do we want to feel better? Let's choose. We all know a number of things that we could do to better our support ourselves. And can we advocate for ourselves to do that? Can we nourish our lives on a regular basis? And really, when we think about what's going on in the world, it's like peace begins with me. Peace begins with you. We want peace in the world. It needs to begin with us. And so when we're choosing behaviors that are aggressive or chaotic or not supportive, then that's not really choosing peace. But when we tune in and we're like, I am going to take this time to nourish my life, to nourish my body, to quiet my mind, to connect with my heart. And from that place, that energy, that frequency influences yourself, your home, your community, and you get to be a beacon of light that is aligning with your higher self, your highest good. And that frequency is contagious. It spreads by example. People are like, wow, that is a beautiful embodiment of light and nourishment and love. And everybody's on their own path, and everybody comes to their journey as they do and as they will and at what pace they do, but it's available. And it's truly amazing what can happen. And it takes time to make changes. It takes time to transform. And when we can really advocate for our ability to really connect with what's in the friction state, what's in the field, be vulnerable, ask for help, look for guidance, look for a mentor, do the work, heal our inner child, and make choices to really nourish our body and our life. And it will transform you forever and align you with incredible, true happiness, true freedom. And I believe in you, and I believed in me, and it was a wild journey, and I'm grateful for it. So thank you for listening today on Liberate Your Life podcast, episode 28, Nourish Your Life. You can connect with me on Instagram at melindareese.co or Tahoe Ayurveda. And check out my website, melindareese.com. And would love to have you connect with me here again on the next episode. Be well. Namaste.